Good evening and welcome to Blinding Insights, your favorite source for genuine, authentic, and reliable fake news. Our guest this evening is Advisor to the President, Kellyanne Conway. Welcome, Kellyanne. You know, my colleagues on the shows that people actually watch are just exasperated with you for going on TV and telling these big fat lies. You know, you're about as welcome on CNN these days as a tooth abscess. But I just wanted to reach out and tell you, you're always welcome to come on Blinding Insights and just lie your butt off, because this is what we do. But I just have to ask you, do you understand the concerns of people who actually care about the truth?
Yes, I respect the concerns, and I'm glad that they made them transparent in public. I think that's part of a healthy democracy. We run a very big tent party here in the Republican Party. Jake, there will be disagreements.
Kellyanne, don't call me Jake, okay? I mean, it's fake news. You can call me anything else, just not Jake. But let me just get right to it. The relationship between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. How did this get started? And what do they see in each other? And why does President Trump, now act like it doesn't exist?
No, he's just answering the question as asked. And I think a lot of this stems from the fact that there's just seems to be charge and accusation after charge and accusation that somehow President Trump and Vladimir Putin are BFFs. That is not true. He made very clear, I think most recently and most vividly, at his joint press conference with the Prime Minister of the UK, Theresa May, that President Trump, hardly knows Vladimir Putin. And they've had a couple of phone calls since he was elected president, and he will continue to speak to many leaders around the globe.
So when he says, he's a killer and so are we, is there some moral equivalence there?
No, I don't think it's a moral equivalence, Jake. And what it is really is
the name is Jeff.
two different opinions on two different matters. And in that regard, I think people should make the judgment for themselves.
Kellyanne, that question, your answer is complete baloney. I don't understand what you said. Well, here's a substantive question for you. The president's policies are going to gut the EPA and really set us back on climate change. Do you know there are baby polar bears who are dying because the Arctic ice is melting and their habitat is disappearing?
I know he's sympathetic to any loss of life. We of course are very sad about loss of life here in case of our neighbors to the north, as I understand. But the fact is that I will ask him, he doesn't tweet about everything, he doesn't make a comment about everything, but I can tell you that the entire point that I do think has been misinterpreted to our friends in the north, and of course put us on record as always being sad about this as a senseless loss of life.
Kellyanne, we will do that. We'll put you down as being sad when anything dies. Kellyanne, I've watched you a lot, and I'm wondering about something. When you just kind of stare out into the camera with that kind of look, half smile and half grimace, and then you come back with an answer that isn't an answer at all. It's about something else, or it's a deflection, where you take what you perceive to be criticism and turn it back on the person asking the question and blame them. How did you learn to do that?
If I can take the broader issue of our relationship with the media, I'm among, if not the most open press person in the White House. I'm now being attacked by the media, including networks that are familiar to you, and I'm just going to keep soldiering on. Jake, let me just say, we have a very high respect for the truth. We have a high regard for facts, but I want you to see some of the other facts that we're doing.
Wait a minute. Facts aren't something you do, right? Facts just sort of are. They're facts. It's not like you do some facts and don't do other facts.
It's the presumptive negativity about us. It's always believing there's something negative.
Can I make a suggestion? Why don't you just tell the truth. Try to be transparent, open and transparent.
I am very open press. I've put out the olive branch. I'm on your show. Very much appreciate you having me and inviting me to be here. What I would put an olive branch out to you and your network is, I really feel like, my big comment is that this White House and the media have joint custody of our country for perhaps the next 8 years.
But that's a very strange idea. Shared custody? Like, there's some kind of divorce with a baby and you share it on weekends? Well, the media is supposed to report what's happening, the truth, and you're supposed to govern. That's kind of strange. Well, that's all the time we have tonight. Thank you, Kellyanne Conway. And for all of us here at the Blinding Insights family, I'm Jeff Swanson. Thanks for